Hello, I'm recording cartoons every episode to be part 2 like a billion years after I made the first one, because by then I was like 20 episodes in. Now I'm almost at the end of season 1, but I decided to take a break from watching episodes for 2 reasons. 1, because I want to focus on doing these reviews, and 2, because the next episode stars Sweetie. Popcorn sound effect. So, yeah, that's the introduction. Boy. Today's episode, of one of today's episodes, looking out for the little guy. It has one wraparound scene at the beginning, but not for the rest of the episode, which is weird. But anyways, this episode starts out with Awful Orphan featuring Elmira adopting Little Sneezer. It's an amazing 8 out of 10 classic and proves that Elmira isn't horrible and annoying. So, yeah. And next there's the re-return of the Toxic Avenger, which is the 3rd time he appeared in production order, but they aired it first for some reason, so the title doesn't make any sense unless you do some sort of in-depth research. Another amazing 8 out of 10 classic featuring Plucky as a Toxic Avenger, trying to stop Montana Max from draining his swamp so him and his swamp pals can party and things. So you think the episode is going to be good? Well, it ends with the horrendous Bird Dog Afternoon, which is horrible and boring. It's about the highly acclaimed and great character of Byron Bassett saving these birds from Furball, but it's kind of what happens, but not really. I'm not looking to this show for Looney Tunes or Animaniacs or anything, some sort of amazing story, but at least for it to be consistent in whatever it's trying to do. But it's just really consistent in literally anything. Super horrible and boring, 3 out of 10. Overall, the episode is 7 out of 10, mainly brought down by the horrendous Bird Dog Afternoon. Maybe I should have actually made it good instead of horrible and dumb. That's it. Next is Starting from Scratch, which is so horrible and boring. It's about a stupid flea family getting separated, and the little annoying little flea kid is on Furball, while the rest are on a random other dog. Calamity Coyote is in there and strings Buster and Babs. Plucky just comes out of nowhere for no reason. And there's amazing Furball and Elmira antics. There's a stupid song sequence. The stupid ass flea family gets united on Furball, and yeah. This episode is a horrible 2 out of 10. It's so horrible and boring, and I don't care. This episode is a parody of American Tail. I watched it once, and it was kind of okay. It's not likely that I'm ever going to watch American Tail. Very less likely that I'm going to watch this. And, yeah, also there's a sequel episode in Season 3. So, yeah, that's most likely going to be shitty, but I'm going to have to watch it anyway because of reasons. Anyway, this episode 2 out of 10 to watch it. Bye. Next is Citizen Max, a Citizen Kane parody, and me, being a teenager, hasn't been able to appreciate the incredible comedic and artistic genius of Citizen Kane, and without it, I haven't watched it, so this episode isn't really that enjoyable from my perspective. It's just a 5 out of 10, basically just a parody of Citizen Kane, with like little random things being changed, so yeah. They don't really convey the story in a way where it actually makes sense or has good pacing. Probably because that the Citizen Kane movie is probably like 200 minutes long, and they condensed it into a 21-minute, well, actually 20 minutes. This is a theme song and credits and title cards and things, but into a 20-minute story type thing. Anyway, this episode is 5 out of 10. It's not likely that we're going to actually watch it, but yeah. There is a couple of good jokes in there, so that's what's kept it from being like a 4 out of 10 or something. There's a part where Plucky says that he's hernia prone, so yeah, that's great. Also, on some websites and orders and things, it says that this episode is episode 23, but on the DVD and the random totally official, not at all pirated bootleg site that I watched it on, it's episode 13, so I'm going to assume that that's the right one. So, yeah. Also, there's a part in the episode where there's a newspaper talking about Hell's Angels, which is approved because reason. That's it, boy. Next is the greatly titled Hare-Raising Night, featuring Buster and company trying to stop an evil mad scientist, the incredibly greatly named Dr. Gene Spicer, experimenting on animals, and Buster tricks them into going along because he tricks them into thinking that they're going to the Emmys, where he just lies to them. So I guess that counts as tricking. This episode is an incredibly great and amazing and hilarious 9 out of 10 of a classic. Boy, it's not stopping. This episode is a whole entire furball cartoon episode, so you already know it's going to be horrible. In the background scenes, Buster and Babs introduce each segment wearing trench coats in the rain for some reason, and each segment is kind of interconnected, so it's like a whole shitty furball story. Anyway, the first short, Canine Kitty, is furball getting adopted by a blind couple who thinks his dog. It's a 5 out of 10 trash. And then next is Aroma Amore, where Fifi gets attracted to furball after him getting a white stripe painted on him. It's a 5 out of 10, less trash. It's slightly better than the previous one because furball does end up getting his revenge on the two bully cats from earlier by painting them, so then Fifi chases them around. So, yeah, that makes like a tiny bit more on the 5 out of 10 scale than the previous one, if that makes no sense. Next is Cross Country Kitty, with furball getting taken on vacation by the highly acclaimed and memorable character Mary Mulder. He has his mind off of Sweetie. It's a kind of horribly paced gags and then a stupid ending. 5 out of 10. This whole episode, 5 out of 10. Not going to watch ever again. The episode is just boring. It also has shitty ACOM animation. So, yeah. That's it. Next is the Acme Acres Zone, where Buster plays a rod-starting parody and a parody of the Twilight Zone. And this episode has incredibly amazing segments, including a walk on the flip side where Monty has a dream where the roles are reversed between him and Buster and Babs. Incredibly amazing, 8 out of 10. Next is the incredibly greatly titled A Baker's Ship with a great title card, where Plucky and Hampton sneak into Monty's pool, and then Plucky leaves him behind once Monty discovers that they're there, and Hampton loses his clothes. 9 out of 10 classic. And yeah. Finally, it's Sincerely Yours, Babs, another 9 out of 10 classic where Calamity separates Babs' sense of humor during an experiment where she tries to make herself funnier, and there's a hilarious chase around the town with Calamity and Hampton trying to get Babs' sense of humor back to her before it's too late. And yeah, this episode is an incredibly amazing 9 out of 10, highly recommended, one of the most best. Grammatically correct, boy. This episode is Life in the 90s, featuring Buster introducing each segment by saying that it's about what life in the 90s was like, where it isn't real. It doesn't have the characters hopping and jumping around with horrendous Glenn Kennedy animation and rapping. That comes later. But this episode isn't really about it being hip and cool and woke to the 90s times or whatever. So, incredibly thankfully, it's not that, and it's actually an entertaining thing. The first short in this episode is Whining Out, where Hampton gets his friends reservations at a high-end restaurant, but they're being jerks to them in its comedy and antics. 8 out of 10. Abraham Lincoln just exists for some reason. Next is Paper Train, where Buster goes on a paper route and has to get Montana Max to pay for his newspapers. And yeah, it's an 8 out of 10. It has Plucky eating a newspaper in it. Great. In the final short, Butt Out, features Babs trying to teach two smoking teams that smoking ain't cool, homie. It's incredibly amazing, 8 out of 10. It features a lesson, it is entertaining. Who knew that could be accomplished? Whole episode, 8 out of 10. Bye. This episode is Rock and Roar and is about a Buster losing a soccer ball during some sort of soccer-based game, and then he finds his dinosaur egg and mistakes it for a soccer ball, and he raises the dinosaurs rampaging around, and then Monty wants to catch it. Well, that doesn't really actually happen. It's just in like 2 scenes. It kind of sets up a story, but then it doesn't, and then there's a random ending where he returns with his dinosaur friends. Since there's a random scene in the beginning with Since there's a random scene in the beginning with Monty, I thought he was going to end up being the main villain of the story, but it's only got one other part and there isn't really a consistent story. Just kind of things happening. This episode is saved by Foghorn Leghorn and also it having good jokes. Overall, 6 out of 10. Specifically for Foghorn. Boy. Next is the incredibly, highly amazing Prom-ise Her Anything featuring the Toons going to prom. Babs wants Buster to ask to the prom, but he doesn't because he can't dance, which is solved later through the incredible magic of the great Hot Cross Bunny all-out job sequence. There's also a subplot with Elmira and Monte. This episode is incredibly amazing, 8 out of 10, which has incredibly great scenes like the previously mentioned all-out job and Crazy Tassie's House of Tuxes. And finally, for this part, is Here Today, Gone Tomorrow, where Buster gets adopted by Elmira. It was the very first episode produced, and it's animated by Kennedy Cartoons. Glenn Kennedy animated the entire third act, as in the last 7 minutes, obviously including the credits. because there's no actual animation on it. But he animated like the last 7 minutes, so the whole entire third act by himself, and also a bunch of other scenes of the episode. So if you tried to make a compilation of it for some reason, then it would probably be like half the episode that he animated. Joy Boy. Why the hell did I say that? The story is about Buster getting adopted by Amore and discovering a bunch of other animals, including the highly acclaimed Tyrone Turtle, and Furball and Fifi are captured by Amore at some point. There's a huge plan and plot to teach Amore a lesson, features incredibly amazing Glenn Kennedy animation, and overall this episode is 7 out of 10. The pacing's kind of weird, and yeah, that's it. Coming up next for the next part is parodies of Superman and Indiana Jones and Star Trek, an amazing episode, Buster's Magician. There's an amazing Glenn Kennedy animated rap sequence coming up. Also a Concord Condor cartoon. Great. An update regarding the Anvil chorus, it is now 6 out of 10 instead of a 4 out of 10. I guess they're just being an idiot. Well, I still am. Just slightly less, so it's not really affected anything. So that's it. Anvil chorus, 6 out of 10 now. Bye.